Computer? Oh my God. Got it. Okay, hello everyone. Before we start, there is some housekeeping issue, and that is, please sit in your seat. So if you came and you're socializing with groups of people, that's fine, but please go back to your seat because you're supposed to come on the stage in a particular order. So please just move back to your originally assigned seat. So with that, welcome everybody to this 5th annual welcome ceremony for the School of Medicine PhD students. This is a beautiful day in Pittsburgh. I really can't believe that this is 3rd year in a row. On this day, it's been beautiful. I wish I could say that for the last 10 years, but no. So, it's a great day, so thank you for being here. Before we start, I just wanted to acknowledge the great Graduate Studies Office team that has made this event possible. They have worked behind the scenes very hard for the last several weeks to put this event together. So can everybody please stand? So we have all the staff members. We also have 2 assistant deans who are also in attendance. So please stand up and let's give them a big round of applause. Again, thank you all for doing what you do. I don't know how you do it, but it always gets done on time. It looks beautiful. You just don't know what goes on behind the scene that we don't care about anyway, but it's beautiful. So we have approximately 100 incoming first-year students. That number also includes a few students from arts and sciences, as well as Carnegie Mellon, who belong to the joint PhD program. We have lots of students from Pennsylvania, as well as, of course, a large number from the rest of the states within the US, and from a number of countries around the world. We know that this year has been difficult on everybody. I'm sure that during the admission process, you felt that because the admissions were paused pretty much throughout the country. And it took a while to get them restarted, and so finally we were able to continue the process, and we have a class of about 100 students in the School of Medicine, which is really great. I really want to acknowledge your patience and your resilience that you showed during this process, because we know it's very sort of unnerving that you have applied to many programs, you don't know what's going on, when will you be admitted, and I really want to thank Dr. Shekhar, who will be here soon, we honored all our acceptances that we had for all the students, and we did not have to rescind any offers. Unfortunately, some other universities had to do that, but we were in a good position not to do that. So, it really worked out for us. And so the other thing is that obviously, I'm also really delighted that all of our students who are from far away from other countries, I know that the visa process was delayed, but it's amazing that every single student got admitted, showed up, some of them really just in time for the classes. So that's really great as well. So things were a little difficult. We went through uncertain times, but now we are in a good place, and hopefully things will continue to get better. So again, let's give a big round of applause to all of you for having gone through this process and lived through it, and you are here now. So let's give you a big round of applause. Okay, now I can assure you that you have made the right choice to come to Pitt Med as a graduate student. You'll find that you can get a great place to do cutting-edge research in a very supportive and collaborative environment. And I'm sure you have already felt that while you've been here for about a month or so. It's a great place to be, and I'm sure that as you go through the system, you will know that you have come to the right place. And I also hope that you'll make exciting discoveries while you're a graduate student, and I look forward to seeing you in the next few years, moving up through the system and becoming great scientists at the School of Medicine, as well as our collaborative institution, the Pitt Arts and Sciences in Carnegie Mellon. So with that, I just want to welcome you as the new members of the Pitt Med community, and I wish you all the best during your graduate education, as well as beyond that. So thank you all so much, and thanks again for being here. So we are going to move on. We are going to flip the schedule a little bit. Things always happen. We always have to respond to situations. So Dr. Hedry is supposed to be the next speaker, but he's on his way. He'll be here in a few minutes time or so. But in the meantime, we are going to invite Dr. Chenis Pettigrew, and he will say a few words about building an inclusive community. And he's the Associate Dean in Office of Engagement and Enrichment. Let's give him a big round of applause. He's a great person, and he has been at PitMed for a very long time.
Well, I don't know how to take that. Long time is always has hidden meaning sometimes, you know. In a good way. Well, I'm glad of that. I have a lot of great colleagues here, and it's been a joy to be here. And hopefully all of you will find that that is the case. So let's get started. As Dr. Khan said, my name is Chenance Pettigrew. I am the Associate Dean for Student Engagement and Enrichment. As you all know, and as Dr. Khan so eloquently put it, we've all been in a lot of adaptation in relationship to the things that we're doing in higher education. And so I've been in that area as well. I want to again offer our welcome from our office to you. And I know based upon what I've experienced in the past, that you're here and you will become great scientists and discover how to keep me up here another 25 years. I know somebody will find out the answer to that issue. So let me get started. Oh, which one is it? This one? Okay. So one of the things that I try to do is make sure that you understand that we are not inventing, we are continuing our legacy. Certainly our responsibilities are to make sure that students are connected to their programs, to their institution, which really is University of Pittsburgh, or in the cases of those of you that are in the Carnegie Mellon program, both of those institutions, as well as the university and the city. So a lot of what we do is making sure that these connections are made, that you're connected to your institution, to each other, and to folks that you're working with. So you'll see a lot of things happen in that area. Certainly, in terms of collaboration, we're always working with students to try to create an experience for them that is very positive, gives them an opportunity to do all the things that will fulfill their development as they are here. You're not just scientists or students, you're people, you have multiple interests, and we try to provide opportunities for those interests to be developed. Certainly, transformation is what is going to happen to you all. You are probably been doing a lot of things as you've gone along in your education, but when you are engaged with us here, your transformation will take place, and you end up as that great scientist that will discover how to keep me alive 25 more years. The other thing that we do is we certainly celebrate our accomplishments, and we celebrate your accomplishments, and we celebrate your presence, and we try to make sure that that presence is acknowledged. And what you see on the screen in the picture is what we call Culture Fest. And Culture Fest is an opportunity for us to bring our authentic selves and be around each other and learn from each other the things that are important for us to know about one another. This is what we are doing. This is how we see ourselves. We are here to try to make sure that you have an opportunity to really immerse yourself in the total experience of being in Pittsburgh, being at Pitt or Carnegie Mellon, being in your program, and that there's full development. So we will, with you, collaborate to do things. We will curate opportunities and disseminate those things. So we will be, again, trying to make sure that you're taking full advantage of being in this environment altogether. This is our mission. This is our vision, and you can read those things as they are presented. Our areas of focus are there. Certainly, we want to continue to tell the PittMed story. We want to make sure that other graduate students who are interested in coming to the University of Pittsburgh know how great of a place it is. We certainly are going to continue to support student success because that's what engagement is all about. We're really complimentary and supportive of all of the student success efforts that take place. Engagement really does matter, and as I said, we will curate and do and collaborate with you to have experiences that engage you in this environment. Culture Fest, along with a number of other things, are part of our community building strategy, and we want all of us to feel that we're part of this place. We do really respond to challenges that you may find yourself facing. Obviously, we hope everything goes smoothly. But if there is an economic challenge of any sort, we are there to help you sort that out and try to bring some relief. And obviously, we're the office that has the responsibility to remain aware of all of the changes that are taking place so that we can continue to inform you and inform our colleagues about what is going on. We have a small team at the moment. That team will remain so until we get all of our positions filled, but I am there with Anna Elias, and if you come to Allen McGee Scaife Hall, those of you that are out and about, you don't have to just hang out on the M level in the graduate office. You can come up and see us, and Anna is a really great resource. So thank you all for making this choice. This is a good choice to have made, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chenis, for your inspiring remarks. So our next speaker, who just ran from Scaife Hall to here, is getting his breath right now, is Dr. Abbas Heidari. He's the Vice Dean of Education for the School of Medicine. He himself is a new member of the Pitt Med community, having started last fall. So we welcome you also to the Pitt Med community, along with all the students. And in the words of our Dean Shaker, I quote, he's the Energizer Bunny of our administration. So with that, Dr. Heidari.
All right, so good afternoon. It's truly a pleasure to be with you. As Dr. Khan mentioned, my name is Dr. Heidari, go by Abbas. I came in November from two different parts of my journey that drew me into Pitt Med, which I think is relevant in that you're starting a new chapter in your life. For almost a decade and a half, I was at University of Illinois at Chicago in different roles. A family physician, also trained in preventive medicine and public health, so was involved in HIV care, trans care, had different roles, including being a program director and an associate dean for education for the medical school. About 8 years ago at that time, I was recruited to be the founding dean for a new medical school in Los Angeles, actually the Kaiser Permanente Bernard J. Tyson School of Medicine. And what drew me there was innovation and the idea to be a startup and to build a team and to make a vision and actualized and really see the trains moving from nothing to something. And when that first class graduated, Dean Shaker in particular was recruiting me to come to Pitt Med. His vision was to ensure that Pitt Med would, it's always, not always, it has been for some time, I will say, the always is not always, for some time, a top research powerhouse. He wanted to have the missions of education and community in particular be elevated. He wanted to have education, research, and community be all top tier across the country and be recognized as such. So again, the idea of going forward with a vision for a leader that was bold and inspirational and innovative, and he is indeed the most innovative, inspirational, innovative leader I have ever worked for. The opportunity was great. My mom is also getting older, and she's in Chicago. My husband's family's in St. Louis, and his family's getting older. To be a little closer to home would also be a good thing, aside from being so far from LA. Do I miss the sunny days and the coast? I definitely do at times, but there's also the beauty of fall in this part of the country and other opportunities of seasons changing that I think bring new life with spring, et cetera, that you really do miss when you're in a place that's just sunny all the time. I know, first world problems. So I want to recognize in absentia, I know they're not here with you, but they're very proud of you. I don't know if this is live streamed, I think, but your family, your friends, the people who kind of brought you here together, always stay humble and remember where you came from. And we'll, like Dr. Pettigrew mentioned, Chenis mentioned, to support that and kind of have that be part of what you can maintain and grow while you're here too. You don't need to forget where you came from, who you are, what you're about in the pursuit of rigorous training that you are doing now as a graduate student. As I mentioned, you're joining a preeminent institution at this medical school across 12 PhD programs, 5 master's programs, and 5 certificate programs. It was not easy to be in the seats that you're in. The questions you pursue, the experiments you conduct, the ideas that you'll test will shape the knowledge of the future. I have no doubt. And I think what makes graduate education in particular so powerful here, we definitely have depth of expertise. It's a bit of a kid in a candy land, frankly, when you go to a place that's this well-resourced for so many lines of inquiry. But it's also the opportunities to collaborate across each other, collaborate across teams, the clinical enterprise, the different basic science departments. It truly, I hope, will be, and trust that it will be a fantastic opportunity during your training to have all of this depth of expertise and cross expertise, if you will. I really believe it's one of our key strengths, and we can even sell it a little more. I will say one thing I've learned about Pittsburgh: it's a very kind place and a humble place. And so there is a lot of excellence, sometimes to the point where you can't recognize it. You go to other places, you know, I was at Harvard for a while, et cetera. It's very clear that Harvard wants to know that they're Harvard. Not to say that Pitt should become like Harvard, because I think the humility and kindness is essential to who we are, but don't let that fool you in terms of the true world-class expertise that is here. I also want to give a quick recognition that science and research are under attack right now. I think you know that, and I could not be more proud to be at an institution like this under Dean Shaker's leadership that has fiercely protected science and research, from the levels of leadership down to the levels of the folks in the labs, et cetera. When I compare notes with my colleagues at other top institutions which are facing similar attack, I am exceedingly proud of what Pitt Med has been able to continue to do, and with excellence. The dean gave his State of the School address earlier this week, and the through lines were optimism and resilience, and he presented great amount of data as to why we should be both optimistic and how we have demonstrated resilience. And I think you'll get to see that hardwired in kind of the culture and the vibe, as you kids say these days, about a place. So we are vibing with a lot of optimism and resilience, and we want you to vibe right there with us. A couple of values I want to highlight as you continue to embark in this journey, right? Integrity, curiosity, resilience, and community. You'll find that your peers, your fellow graduate students, are some of the most amazing people that you're going to interact with in your life, and I hope you have deep, long friendships with them, and that the faculty in the different venues are going to be fantastic folks as well. And so remember that and lean into that. I will say that graduate education, like all education, but in particular graduate research education, what I have found in my colleagues who are going through the process and my peers who are now faculty, et cetera, experiments don't always work. Data doesn't always fit neatly. Progress sometimes comes in unexpected and slow ways. There will be bumps in the journey. And those are hard to navigate. Those are hard to kind of embrace, because you want to have success, you want to advance, you want to move quickly, et cetera. But know that that's part of the lay of the land. Know that you're not alone. Know that you have resources. The Graduate Studies Office, led by Dr. Khan, that reports into me, does a fantastic job, and the staff and the team that Dr. Khan has built to be of service to you. And then you have the individual program directors, department chairs, et cetera. So I know it's a demanding experience. You're going to learn technical skills. You're going to learn knowledge. You're going to learn so much. It's going to be, I hope, a vibrant environment, and one that really keeps you curious, and one that keeps you intellectually satisfied and personally satisfied, wherever your career leads, academia, industry, government, wherever that might be. So today, I'm going to invite you to fully embrace the opportunity, ask bold questions, seek out collaboration, and contribute to co-create this culture that we're creating. You're now going to co-create that culture with us for the mission of advancing science for the betterment of society. And again, I want to highlight, don't forget to enjoy the process. The outcome is there, but the journey, the process, I know it sounds almost cliche, but truly try and enjoy that process of getting there as well, in the day-to-day and the small things, and learn from the setbacks, et cetera. So on behalf of the faculty, the staff, the leadership, especially Dean Shaker, I want to say how proud we are of you and to welcome you to Pitt Med. We're excited to see the discoveries that you will make, the communities that you will build, and the impact that you'll have. So congratulations, look forward to getting to know some of you better over time. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Hadri. Our next speaker is Dr. Tulia Bruno. She's assistant professor in the Department of Immunology, and she will tell you a few things about how to find the right mentor. I'm sure you're looking forward to doing that over the next several months, so this is really an important talk for you.
Thanks so much for the introduction. I'm happy to be here. I am an assistant professor of immunology. I've been at Pitt for 10 years, and my lab's been independently open for 6. I currently mentor 5 graduate students, so I have a very heavy graduate student-driven program. So I'm going to try to give you some pearls of wisdom. You can take them or leave them, but I think I've learned a few things along the way. I always start out with this picture, and the question in the title, is it just about the science? You're going to find out that it's not, okay? You really need to find a culture that is going to work for you. You need to find people that have similar likes, dislikes, that are similarly motivated by you, that understand you, okay? And there's some tips that I can give you. My lab does a lot of bonding without me as well. That's also important. But this is one thing we did. I work on tertiary lymphoid structures, so I had an artist make a custom painting, and we all went and did that together, and that was something for culture building. So I think you need to just define what you want out of your mentor or your mentors in the lab, and I'm happy to talk to you about this more over the reception. And I thought you would appreciate my mentorship journey because this is the linear part of my mentorship journey. So I started in the research lab at Vanderbilt. I got bit by the research bug and decided very quickly I wasn't going to medical school anymore. I was going to get my PhD. And that was thanks to Dario Unamatsu, who was a little bit nutty now that I think about it. I mean, he had an espresso machine in his office and he had like 4 a day. So that just tells you like what level he was on energy-wise. But he taught me a lot, and he taught me that really being persistent and building a solid foundation was important. That I took with me to graduate school, where I met Chuck Drake, and he was hands down, and still is, the most excited person about anything you do, whether it's a failed experiment, whether it's something that you did well on. I actually just spoke to him yesterday on the phone, and he said, "I'm so glad I've got to watch your journey because you're really soaring." And I said, "Well, that's because you taught me the foundation," right? So graduate school, where you're at now, is where you learn that foundation, and we can talk more about that. And then I moved on to my postdoc and learned how to write grants and really advocate for myself and become a better scientist in that realm. And then when I came here, I worked with Dario Vignali at first, who a lot of you probably know, and he really taught me how to be a effective faculty mentor, member, and really be a great scientist and take my research to the next level. But the point of this slide is not just about my linear mentorship journey, it's about all the people outside. So the one thing that you should remember from today is you are going to have a primary mentor who takes care of you throughout your graduate journey, but you are not limited to just that person. I would urge you to build a network of mentors, people that have different strengths that can help you with different aspects of your training, because it's not just about the science. It's about how do you socialize with individuals? How do you talk about your science? How do you write grants? There's a lot of soft skills you need to be successful, and this network of individuals have helped me with that along the way, both internal and external to Pitt. Do your homework. What do you want your lab ecosystem to look like? Okay, and so I always use ecosystem to describe my community of lab members, because we have graduate students, we have postdocs, we have technicians, and that ecosystem is in a very important balance, and they thrive and they depend on each other. So when you're looking around, that ecosystem doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to be a lab of 20 people to have an ecosystem. You can be in a lab of 5 and have a perfect ecosystem that makes you successful. So really think about what that looks like for you. And this is also a very personal decision. I think people often don't trust their gut with these decisions, so I would urge you to do that as well, right, after you've looked at everything. Some more practical advice is what makes a good PhD mentor. And you can read this, so I don't have to really go over everything here just for sake of time, but it's just not about science, right? You can see the qualities that are up there are, how do they motivate you? Can they motivate you properly? When you tell them something isn't working properly, how do they respond to that? Are they supportive? Are they discouraging? And how transparent are they, right? Transparency is a big thing for my lab. I am unapologetically transparent with my group, right? So if I have to leave to take care of my kids, I have to leave to take care of my kids. And I promise you that I will take care of you when I can, but we will make it work, okay? So I urge my individuals to be transparent with me, and I hope that you find a mentor that can do that for you. And I think the asterisk there is nobody's perfect, okay? So if you're looking for the perfect mentor, you're gonna be looking for a long time. I have a ton of flaws, and I'm sure my people will tell you about all of them if you wanted to talk to them. But it's my strengths that they stick around for. Choosing a good mentor, there's a lot of things you can do, okay? So these next few slides have some tips on here, and I can send these out or we can give them to you so you can reflect on them. This is about the science, okay? So where do they publish? How often do they publish? The bigger question for you is if you have a requirement for publishing to get out of your graduate program, how long does it take them to get to a publication? Are they a lab that waits 6-7 years to publish a paper? Or are they publishing something every year? This is where talking to the graduate students is important. How do they determine authorship? How do they divvy up the work? Do they put people against each other? Do they work collaboratively? Do they encourage their individuals to write grants and travel and display their science to the bigger community at large? For us, that's the cancer immunology community. What's their track record? So your biggest ally is talk to the graduate students, okay? Don't just talk to the graduate students that the PI wants you to talk to everybody in the group, right? Because you wanna know, if I have 5 graduate students, how do those 5 graduate students view me and how are my interactions with them, right? And I can promise you they're not the same, but one thing that's true is that they're fair and even across the board. And I might tailor the way I mentor them, but it's always the same treatment, right? So you wanna know that, and you want to really think about what are the negatives there, right? Because there will be flaws. And so can you take those negatives, and are those okay for you to use to grow? And are they not as important because there are so many positives that you have? Don't rely on one person's opinion. And in fact, I did some homework. I'm a scientist, okay? So I reached out to a bunch of graduate students and I said, send me a quote of how you found your research lab, or when you selected a mentor. These are really honest testimonials from students, and you can read them, but you can see that a lot of them aren't just saying it's about the science. Most of them are saying it's about how they act when I come to them and say this experiment failed. Do they let me be creative? Do they let me think outside the box? Do they let me travel? Do they help me with my shortcomings? Do they understand what those shortcomings are and then elevate me appropriately? How do they motivate? Because mentoring and motivating are 2 very different things. And then finally, I think going to the lab, and this is what you do in your rotation, right? You're in the atmosphere, you see how the day-to-day is. Are they hands-on? Do they meet with their people frequently? Do they have another individual that helps with those meetings? I don't think you have to be in a small lab to get the attention you need, but you need to make sure that if I have 5 graduate students, I better be sure I'm paying enough attention to each of them, right? So that they can be successful. So I think this is a really important thing. And then how casual are they, how formal are they, how social, what's their work ethic like? Do they match your energy in that regard? And then while you're doing your rotation, these are my pieces of advice. Go in prepared, okay? Don't go to a meeting about a rotation and not know anything about what this PI did, okay? That is a big no-no, all right? You don't want to just pick a lab to pick a lab. Read their papers. What type of work do they do? Do they do mostly mouse work? Do they do translational work? Do they work with a lot of collaborators? Are multiple people on one project, right? You want to make sure that you show initiative. So don't always wait for them to come to you. If you're rotating, go up to them and say, hey, I have a couple ideas, or I'd like to discuss some papers that I read. Can we make a meeting, right? I do that with my people. Sometimes I deliberately say we should have a meeting, but I also wait to see what the rotation student's gonna do, right? So this is the dating phase, right? You're in the dating phase and you're trying to figure out which PI you're gonna quote unquote marry for the next 5 or 6 years. It's a long journey. So after you have all the things in front of you, trust your gut in the end. If there's 2 labs that you're trying to go back and forth with, which one makes you feel the best when you're in there and makes you feel like you could really succeed? So in the end, you need to create a lab ecosystem so that you can become a well-rounded scientist, right? The science is important. You have to like the science. You have to want to do the science, and it helps you. But you also want to become well-rounded. You want to learn how to write grants. You want to learn how to pitch your science. You want to learn how to interact with other scientists. And you want to learn how to move through this anatomy of a group meeting presentation so that one day you are the PI sitting at the table that has hundreds of ideas, and you're stressing out your graduate student because you have too many ideas and they don't have enough time, okay? So with that, I'll stop and say thank you. And if there's anything that I can do, just reach out to me. Thank you for the invitation today.
Thank you, Dr. Bruno, I hope that you got those inspiring, ideas and great pointers. So please make use of them because they are really important in terms of finding the right place. And as she said, not every mentor is best for a particular student. Somebody who may be great for you may not be great for somebody else and vice versa. So it's the question of finding the perfect mentor for you, not for everybody. So please follow some of those suggestions. Our next speaker is Dr. Matthew Brown. And the title is An Anonymous Guide to Graduate School. He's Oncology Regional Medical Scientific Director at Merck. So Matthew.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Welcome to Pittsburgh. My name is Matt Brown. I'm a graduate of the Cellular Molecular Pathology program in 2013. And as Dr. Khan said, my talk is entitled Alumnus Guide to Graduate School. It's just kind of a hodgepodge of personal experience and tips that I would give to an entering graduate student. So a little bit about me. Born and raised in Sacramento, and in the summer of 2008, I packed all of my stuff in my car with my dog, and I drove across the nation to start at Pitt. Pretty quickly after arriving, I was hit with the reality check when I was taking the foundations course, which was our crash course in molecular biology. I found out that I was very good at memorizing, but I wasn't very good at thinking critically. I think that's a big lesson most of you will have to learn, and it is one of the most important skills that a good scientist has. You really need to be able to think critically. I'm not going to say anything more about finding the right lab. Dr. Bruno did fantastic there. One thing I did not do well enough in graduate school that I think all of you should do is start networking on day one. It doesn't matter where you decide to go career-wise, a good network will always help you. Moving on to the middle, those middle years that can drag on and you find out that this isn't easy. Do your best to create a community and build friendships. Your fellow graduate students know what you're going through more than anybody else in the world. They will get you through the tough times. So lean on them. Make friends, build a community. You will spend a lot of long days and weekends in the lab. It was not uncommon for me to go months without a day off. Same thing with my classmates. So when you do have time off, do your best to find an outlet, protect your mental health. For me, it was running. Find whatever works for you. One of the most difficult lessons, if not the most difficult lesson I had to learn in graduate school that I tell all my friends about is learning how to fail. There are times in graduate school where you find out you're just wrong. There's no backtracking, changing it, you're just wrong. That's tough to accept for a lot of people, but you're going to be a better scientist the quicker you can learn how to fail, course correct, and move forward. In line with that, you will face adversity, as was mentioned. Experiments fail, projects fail, labs move. I was in a lab that left 2.5 years in my thesis, so I had to change labs and change projects. When times get tough, don't lose sight of the end goal. You came here to get a PhD. Don't leave without it. Getting to the end, when are you defending? You're going to grow to hate this question, despise it. Every family get-together, holiday, friends and family will be like, when are you graduating? And then they'll look at you side-eyed when you're like, I don't know. But do your best to not compare yourself to other people. Everyone's path and project is different. I had friends that graduated in 4 years. I had friends that graduated in 7.5. I'm 12 years removed from defending, and we're all kind of in the same spot. So it really didn't matter in the end. You will experience burnout, and you will argue with your PI. It's inevitable. Do your best to be kind and move forward. Imposter syndrome will start to creep in when you get towards the end. It's kind of weird being the expert in the room. It's absolutely wild being the expert in the nation or the world. But if you put in your work, trust your voice, and know that your viewpoint should matter. So what do you do after you get a postdoc? Or excuse me, after you get a PhD? Do you postdoc? When I defended, it seemed like it was necessary. I don't know that it is anymore. But I did a postdoc at the National Cancer Institute. That's where I really learned how to think. I was able to just analyze things at a level that I couldn't do in graduate school. But also it became very apparent that the foundation and the skills I built at Pitt were top-notch, and they really served me well. In my postdoc, I also learned that bench science wasn't for me. So I did 2 years, and then I was done. A word of advice for you is to start job hunting before you think you should. For me, it took me a year to get a job, and that seems to be on par with most of my peers that I've spoken to. So when I started graduate school, if you had asked me how it was going to go, I would tell you I'm going to be done in 4 years. I'm going to drive my dog back to California, and I'm going to be a professor at a liberal arts college. But it's been 17 years, and I'm still in Pittsburgh. I married a woman from Western Pennsylvania. After my PhD and my postdoc, I found out that most of my professional network was in the East Coast, so it was a lot easier to get a job in the East Coast. And I'm not an academic professor. Currently, I'm working in oncology medical affairs for Merck. So almost none of my classmates ended up where they thought they would. So be open to change. This is a snapshot of where everybody ended up that was in my year. Some people in academia, some people in pharma, a couple in nonprofit, and a couple in government. And this is just the 35 students I started with. If you look at all the students that came through these programs, you'll see just a vast array of different positions that you can get. I think it's more important about this. I think what's more important here is the skills you build, not necessarily what you study. So they will serve you well if you do your work. I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit and follow up with what you said. I think now more than ever, at least in my lifetime, the world needs well-informed and strong scientists. There's so much misinformation, so much falsehoods. This is your opportunity to learn how to think critically, to analyze data objectively, and to convey complex ideas to the public. So it's our duty to defend science. So in closing, graduate school is tough, but with hard work and perseverance, you can succeed. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. And you can see that, when you start graduate school, you are thinking about doing something in the future, and where you end up, maybe what you thought from day one, or maybe completely different. So keep an open mind. We always keep telling, go with your passion wherever it takes you. And that's the biggest thing that we can really learn as we go through the process and go from first day to graduation. So those are really important comments. Thank you. So we have a slight change in schedule again because Dr. Shekhar is running from one meeting, and then after that he has to run to another meeting. So he's not here yet. He will be here in about 10 minutes or so. So we will start the process of jacket ceremony. And when he comes up here, after the group of students are getting jacketed at that moment, they will finish. Then Dr. Shekhar will speak, and then after that he will leave, and they will continue the process. So that's how life works, and Dr. Headri was solving a crisis, and he had to run. So we just deal with this all the time, and so that's the way it is, but it all works out at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do now is to invite either the graduate program directors, or some of them are not here, so they're representatives, to the stage, and please come and take a seat, although you will not be seated for too long, because you'll be mostly standing and giving the jackets to the students. So that's the way it is. So I'm just going to read the names from the start and tell their programs. So Jianghua Liu from Biomedical Informatics. Please take a seat. Adam Kwarskowski from Cell Biology and Molecular Physiology. Andy Duncan from Cellular and Molecular Pathology. Jacqueline Rankin from Clinical and Translational Science. Fritz Roth from Computational Biology. He's also the chair of the department, doing double duty today. Neil Hakrit, a great friend of mine from Integrative Systems Biology. And he's an ex-college football player. I'm not kidding, he is. He is. Tony Richardson from Microbiology and Immunology. Oh no, Greg Delgoff from the same program. Greg. Andy Hink from molecular biology, molecular biophysics and structural biology. Arjuman Ghazi from molecular genetics and developmental biology. Tia Jacob, molecular pharmacology. Rob Turner from neurobiology/neuroscience. And Carola Newman from one of our newest program in cancer biology and oncology. So I'm going to invite Dr. Matthew Brown again to, I'm sorry, Emmy, you're going to come here?
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Emmy Brown and I'm the current BGSA president. So I'll be reading off names. And are the green lines the divide between groups? Dr. Khan? Okay, thank you, Deepti. Thank you. Okay, so starting with Shaila Afrin. Yeah, and when you hear your name called, just stand up and then walk towards Deepti and she'll direct you. JJ Amaral. Laura Arroyo. Riley Beam. Julie Bocetti. Daniela Bricett. Saul Castillo. Palak Chaudhry. Lu Chen. Yuxiang Chen. Devin Colby. And Joseph Kalura. Okay. Picture.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Pictures. Okay, give the first group of students a round of applause, please. Okay, you may now go back and take your seats, and I'll start reading off the second group of names. Andrew Craig. Maria Dam Ferdinand, sorry. Sophia de Guara. Rutuju Deshmukh. Jordan Dixon. Cameron Forbes. If I say your name wrong, by the way, please come up to me after. I would love to meet you. Sincere apologies, doing my best. Cameron Forbes. David Gao. Marios Gavrielatos. Benjamin Glennon. Matthew Hoffman. Jason Hong. And Owen Shiu. Okay, let's give our second group of students a big round of applause. Congratulations. Okay, you may now return to your seats. Rachel Vasta Gloria. Victor Aikazawa. Danielle Illy. Anisha Jain. Advit Jivanandam. Linji Jin. Anaga Kangovi, Angela Katapuram, Angela Kao, Angela Kendi, Shaimai Khalid, and Ahmed Ayub Khan. Okay, let's give this group a big round of applause. And you can return to your seats. I'll call out the next group of names. Starting with Hyan Singh Kim, Brian Kleiboker, Minji Kwong, Tanner Lehman, Hao Xiang Li, Nikki Lee, Xiang Li, Yuchen Liu, Aditi Loitel, Jordan Mears Garcia, and Anton Mahama. Okay, once everyone's up, I can't really see the end, but let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, thank you. Okay, and if you're ready, you can return to your seats. We'll start off in the next group. All right, next group of students, starting with Abigail Malloy. Bronwyn Masters, Kali McDonough, Olivia McHugh, Emmanuel Emrose, Madison Moreland, El Hassan Mustafa, Gabe Neal, Alexander Upsal, Nadine Uri, Apeksha Podankanaya, and Galia Petros. Okay. Galia Petros? Okay. Well, with that, we can give this group of students a big round of applause. Okay, the next group of students, starting with Danielle Pitlor, Ananya Ranaraja, Ruvi Ranatunga, Sarah Riley, Yahira, Yahira Rivera Lopez, Santiago Rivera, Vivara Ruptsova, Adrita Saha, Nathaniel Sanford, Asan Sekandari, Vignesh Sunguntuvun, and Ritika Shah. Let's give this group of students a big round of applause. Justina Schomber. Mila Stojnovic. Braden Stevenson. Ruying Su. Kashin Sun. Atarva Tornay. Adelaide Tatermir. Aisha Velopra. Paulina Vargas. Megan Vinya. And Akshara Vijay. Welcome. Okay, and then final group of students here, starting with Shirei Wong, Shujian Wong, Joanne Shaya, Rebecca Zach, Juliana Zaza, Cindy Zhang, Jiqian Zheng, Ramin Forgani, Lola Ortiz Whittingham, Karensa Choya, Noah Nielsen, and last but not least, Nicholas Schwartz. Okay, welcome new students. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Khan. Okay, Dean Shaker's still not here. Okay, let me go get my students.
Yeah, you can go back. No. Emmy, come back on. Yeah, and you guys can leave. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, we're going to do oath.
Okay, so the next item is Emmy is going to lead the administration of a scientist's oath to everybody.
Okay, so as I read this oath, I'll read it line by line, and if you put your hand up, you can repeat back the line that I read from your program booklet. Oh, and please stand. Okay, so raise your left hand, I think. As I embark on my career as a scientist, I will willingly pledge that I will practice and support a scientific process that is based on logic, intellectual rigor, personal integrity, and an uncompromising respect for truth. Did I read it? Okay, next I will perform my professional activities and interactions with scientific integrity and respect for the field and my peers. I will acknowledge my role as an ambassador of science to the public and strive to be honest, respectful, and unbiased with engaging the public. I will value my work and its contribution to the scientific community. I will never let the potential for personal recognition or advancement cause me to act in a way that violates the public trust in science or in me as a scientist. The next one's very important. I will foster a community that is inclusive of all and recognize that diversity cultivates innovation, creativity, and progress. I will acknowledge and honor the contributions of scientists who have preceded me and become a worthy role model deserving of respect by those who follow me. And I will always be cognizant that my work is for the advancement of knowledge and the benefit of all humanity. Okay, thank you. And with that, you can take your seats. Okay, so today I feel honored to be welcoming you all as the current president of the Biomedical Graduate Students Association, also known as the BGSA. You all have brilliant minds for scientific inquiry and have been offered the opportunity to pursue your graduate studies at the University of Pittsburgh as a result of that, in combination with your hard work, dedication, and I'm sure numerous accolades and accomplishments thus far in your career. That has taken you quite far, but what I hope to share with you today is that although your curiosity and intelligence are important qualities for a successful scientist, perseverance is really the key skill to cultivate and remember as your graduate journey begins. When I first moved to Pittsburgh 9 years ago now, which is wild, to start my undergraduate studies, I met many new friends from Philadelphia who shared with me the motto of Sixers fans. You may be familiar, but it's trust the process. This sentiment came from the previous general manager of the team, Sam Hinkie, where he took on the challenge of rebuilding a consistently losing team into a successful winning team, but in an unconventional way. In the rebuild process, it required many more losses to occur while they worked to acquire a team with a working dynamic capable of championships. Trust the process became the central motto for the Sixers, along with their loyal fan base, all the people on my floor freshman year, encouraging patience and faith. What faith really means is to believe in something that is not yet visible or clear, much like the scientific discoveries that you are all preparing to embark towards. I want to invite you to remember to trust the process of your graduate school trajectory. To be transparent, it will more than likely not follow a linear trend of shooting steadily upwards towards success. And that is okay and actually to be expected, as Matthew just shared with us, given that the inherent process of scientific inquiry requires failures along the path. There will be days of tremendous happiness and success, like when you finally troubleshoot an experiment that you've been working to optimize or debunking code after months of headaches, passing your comprehensive exams, or receiving notice of being awarded a fellowship. There will also be days where the negative thoughts start to creep in and it's difficult to turn down the volume on imposter syndrome. Feeling like you are not worthy or deserving to be here, or that you are not smart and capable enough to make it to the finish line. Neither are good or bad days, they just are. Maybe easier and more challenging could be appropriate descriptions, but I mention this to encourage acceptance that there will be bumps, twists, and turns along the way. Trust the belief in yourself. What may work for someone else may not work for you, and that doesn't mean that you're wrong or a failure. It simply means that it's not a compatible or supportive environment to enable your success. Remember to fill your own cup up. One thing I know we have in common already is that we're all science nerds and very passionate about research and innovation. But don't forget to take care of yourself and live your life in the meantime. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and fueling yourself properly by taking care of your health and prioritizing what brings you joy and fulfillment outside of your science is just as important. While this may feel uncomfortable or unproductive to do, I really urge you to do so. Trust that you are also not defined by your failures. Experiencing failure is an inherent component to being a scientist. And don't let this define you or your sense of self. To do so would be pursuing a confounding variable, which I'm sure that you've had that discussion, or will do so this first year. What will really define your success as a graduate student is the amount of time it takes you to pick yourself back up after these failures. Embrace the next day as a new opportunity to be curious, persistent, and try something different or new. And most importantly, take time to celebrate your wins along the way. Also, trust the community. You will be working closely with your thesis advisor, of course, but be sure to diversify your mentorship network. Join BGSA events, shameless plug, speak with other school of medicine faculty and leadership. Pitt School of Medicine has a long track record of success and prestige, and I will promise you there is tremendous wisdom amongst the community members and fellow students you have the privilege of being welcomed into today. I would like to close by emphasizing the importance of kindness, both to yourself and to others. A small act of kindness can go a far way in this world, and it's one of the few things that we have control over. I would really love to connect with some of you at the reception after this, and just remember that you're never alone. I'd really love to see you at BGSA events and upcoming meetings. We have a really fantastic lineup coming up. So hail to Pitt and welcome.
Thank you, Emmy. I just got a message from Dr. Shaker that he's in this university leadership meeting and the meeting is running late and is delayed. So he apologizes for not being able to come here, but he asked me to welcome you all to the Pitt Med Graduate School community, and he looks forward to seeing you on October 1st during the Graduate School Symposium that I hope to see you all as well. So we are going to finish a little earlier than sort of expected. And so we have a few minutes time here. Before we break for reception, the students have to go outside in that corner. So if you're sitting here, right back corner outside to get your photograph taken as a group of the first year incoming students. But if this is free for all, if anybody has a wish to say something to this group of people, please feel welcome to come and say a word or two. Anybody's invited. There you go.
Go to the BGSA things. I met my wife there.
That's great, yeah. BGSA is going to become the most popular group now on the campus. Anybody else, any person brave, faculty, students, visitors, staff members, anybody wants to say any word? Anyone is brave enough in this? I don't want to put anybody on the spot. In the incoming students who want to just say a word or two, where they are from and why they came to Pitt Med. Come on, be brave. I'm sure there are brave people in this. You'll feel a lot of obstacles in the next 5 years. Anybody? No? Okay. How about any current students? I see some people here. Anybody who wants to say something? Yes? No? Okay. All right. Well, looks like people are getting ready to take the photographs. And so what we'll do is we'll break after this. Everybody who's not the incoming student will stay in this room. Reception is starting soon. And then students will go out, get their photo taken, and then come back inside, and we'll continue, and we'll mingle and have a little social event here. So thank you all for attending, and all the first-year incoming students, all the current students, faculty member, everybody else. And everybody follows Natalia right there for photographs taken. Thank you all very much.